Dear Albert, can you share with us how you found your calling to be a monk? Do you know when you were a child or later when you were an adult? Do I know that I would become a monk when I was a teenager? I don't know. I never thought of it. It's just all these circumstances grouped together that I become a monk. And it seems that when I look back, it seems that the invisible book is written that way. That I have to encounter this, that I will have to, I have to meet someone, it all seems to be written down in the book. And I don't know if I told you a story that happened, a true story that happened to me when I was, how many years ago? Say, 40 years ago, 35 years ago, I was studying at University of Toronto, and I stayed with two monks in Don Mills. Anybody live in Toronto before? You know where Don Mills is? Oh, you must know where Don Mills is, North York. Yeah, I like Don Mills. They have a big skating ring in there. And I like to ride in those buses. In the old days, the driver likes to yell out, Eglinton, and everybody gets down at Eglinton. And then the York Mills, do they still yell out these names now?
No, electronic.
Oh, they have electronic show in there, they don't care anymore. They want to save the breath, and you look yourself. It's so funny that in every station they yell out the name of that street, the main station. And I find it to be so pleasant, so homely, so I don't know. It's so nice. So anyway, I was staying with a monk in Don Mills, and these two monks, they were the first two monks coming to Canada, Reverend Sing Hong and Reverend Sing Chang. These were the two monks. I think in 1967, they attended the Montreal Exposition. Is it 1967?
Yes.
The Montreal Exposition. And after the exposition, somebody told them that to stay behind. And then they stayed behind. They didn't choose Montreal, they chose Toronto. So they stayed in Toronto. These were the first two monks who were in the mission. They told me that they were trying to put a flag of Buddhism onto the Canadian community and Canadian land. Somebody donated some money to buy a small little bungalow for them in a street called South Hill Drive. South Hill Drive, I don't know. And they called their bungalow South Hill Temple. In my second year, I wrote to Hong Kong to some Buddhists, and I said, I'm quite lonely when sometimes Easter holidays and vacations were so lonely, and a letter came back to me and said, why don't you visit these two monks? So I got the address and I visited these two monks, and I feel in harmony with them at first sight, and I said, I'm looking for a place to stay. Can I stay with you two guys, two people? Say, okay, you can welcome. You stay at the basement, and we stay upstairs, and we cook and you wash dishes. So that's the arrangement. And being a young guy who didn't really know how to do washing, sometimes it's quite messy, and finally I don't even have to wash. Yeah. So I stayed with them, and during that 1 year I stayed with them, my mind was so peaceful. I stay in the basement, I do my studying, and I do my meditation. And I had, in 7 nights, I had the same dream, in 7 nights. I must have told some of you people before. And in 7 nights, I have the same dream. Would you have the same dream in 7 nights in succession? Very difficult, right? It's the same dream. You know, what I was dreaming about? I was dreaming that I was climbing up some huge ladder, going up to the roof, coming down again, going up to the roof, coming down again, going up to a huge temple roof, going up and coming down. And same dream. That kind of dream to me, to a guy who's 23 years old, is this is just a wild dream. I mean, climbing up the ladder onto a temple and coming down. What kind of dream? I don't really, it doesn't really mean anything to me. But so many years later, 15, 20 years later, when I came to build this temple, I bought tiles from Taiwan. And how do we shift the tiles up to the roof to lay tiles? We rented a mechanical ladder. It with electricity, and we push, and that little lift would lift up all the tiles, would lift up there, and then we climb up, and the tiles will lift up and down. And sometimes we use that as the escalator too. It's so strong. So I climb up and down and climb up and down. And one day I was looking at how straight the rows of tiles are, and I suddenly remember 15, 20 years ago, I already have this dream that I was climbing up and down this ladder. So that wouldn't be a coincidence. That may be something, someone, or some reminder that you are going to do this. You're going to do this, building a temple. So my calling, I didn't have any calling at that time. So I wasn't a monk at that time. When I was building this temple, I was still a layman. Until about now 13 years ago, I became a monk. And I think, did Judy come when I was a layman? Judy, you were not here, right?
Yes.
You already came?
Yeah.
So you're the old timer. And also, what is this? The Indian lady, I always forgot her name. Sue. Sue was here. And I was teaching as a layman, meditation at the back. And I just became a monk 13 years ago. And so many conditions put together. And there's so many, we can write a book about it. When I still remember the first time when we got someone a quotation to build this building, and the first time when the contractor gave me the invoice, I was shocked. 350,000, percentage of completion. Suddenly, how do I get the money to pay? So I thought I was putting aside about $200,000, and now the first invoice is $150 more, $150,000 more. So I was looking everywhere for fun, and I was giving a banquet and doing an opera singing. I still remember I sang in an opera, and I got about $50,000 on that night, singing a Chinese opera. Oh yes, yeah, singing a Chinese opera, and 50,000. So a lot of difficulties. I don't know. Every time when I encounter difficulties in building the temple, I encounter thousands of difficulties in building, about human relationships, about money, about construction, about material, about government, how to deal with the government. You think it's easy to build a temple in a Canadian government, in the community? Oh, extremely difficult. You have all your neighbors got to agree. You get all your neighbors to get to agree for you to build a temple. So we have a lot of opposition when we first started. And I went through a lot of political turbulence, you call it. At that time, I think the mayor, it's Gil Blair in Richmond. I think he passed away already. He laid the foundation for this temple. And at that time, all the council members, they were not called council members, they were called aldermen. They're elder lady too, but they don't call elder lady aldermen. And I have to sit in the forum, and with this 13 aldermen and the mayor shooting questions at me. Why do you have to build a temple like that? How high is the temple? What do you, how many people, how many members? Oh, a lot of questions shooting at me. And I got scared. I was quite hesitant. And then somehow I have to come back for another session. They don't find it satisfactory in the first session. So I go about to the Chinese Overseas Voice, the radio. I said, let's get us some political momentum. So I gathered 300 people at the gate of City Hall, all wearing the band. We support the temple. So everybody make these banners and go into the big not parliamentary, the hall, and quietly, of course. We don't use violence. Quietly, everybody's sitting there, and the mayor was sort of shocked. What is people wearing the same uniform? Where did they come from? I said, Mr. Mayor, they're supporting me to build this temple. So I went down there and sit in the center. All these questions start shooting at me. At that time, I was well prepared. I answered every question. And I got unanimous approval for building this temple. It's public record. Unanimous, oh yes, it's public record. You can check it. Unanimous approval for building this temple. They didn't know how high the temple is at that time. Yes? Yeah? Well, which one first? Oh, you first, okay? Later, yeah, there's that question there, yeah?
Why did you want to build a temple?
Huh? Why did I want to build a temple?
Yeah.
Because at that time, there was no Buddhist temple in Vancouver, only a dilapidated church modified into a temple. And that's on the 49th Street. And it's like an old church. And I want to build a real authentic temple in which the architecture is authentic, the teaching is original, and I want to build it in the middle of a nice scholarly garden. All this dream come true. So whenever you have a dream, if they all come true if you work at it. This just starts as a dream for me. So many people come in to help. So many, thousands, maybe 2,000-3,000 people. And yesterday, sometimes occasionally when I'm talking with all these Chinese members, I always told them, those who attended ceremony 35 years ago upstairs with me, 95% of them passed away already. All these are new faces. There's so many people help. The seniors and the youngsters, and so many people try to help. So many people help into this. And I didn't have one single big rich donor or a few rich donors. I depend on the mass majority of the people. In other words, I don't have one. Now I know that on number 5 street, they call number 5 street, you know what they call it, a temple street now. Because all the temples, the city wants to group in there. I'm not talking about politics, but the city want to put all churches, all religious organizations on that number 5 road. Because they want to concentrate in one road. We are out of that temple street. Why? Because our temples is like a monument in here. And once it is built, it instigates so many thoughts and ideas. If they allow temples and churches to be built everywhere, then it's not under control. So they're very clever. They want to put everything in that street, that temple street. You go to that street, and they call it, they also call that street a road to heaven. Who wants to go to that road? road going to heaven? I still want to be in this world. You go. Some people are like that. I encounter so many oppositions. I have to go through so many hearings, public hearings, and also we have to acquire the land. We only have about half an acre to start with. This is the half an acre. This building. We started with half an acre, and then we slowly buy some land and buy the land over there. Slowly, bit by bit, we develop. Every year is not the same for us. A lot of people come, I haven't been here for a year. It's different now. I haven't been here for another year. It's different. Because they have the confidence. These people will build this temple. They use all the money in the building. Because I know, they said. Because every year when I came here, I donated some money. Every time when I came here to check, they always add in something. They know where the money went. It's all for the public. It's not for private. And also this temple is not just for the Chinese. Everybody that can come here. It's just some people, they got scared of coming in. They thought this is private. Our mission is to teach the Buddhist teaching in the West. Our mission is to let the Canadian people learn Buddhism. Not to coming here to just teach the Chinese. If we just teach the Chinese people, we can always go to China. Why do we have to come here? There's no boundary in the Buddhist teaching. It's for everybody. If you really want to trace the origin of Buddha, Sakyamuni, he more belonged to the Caucasian family, the Aryan family. Buddha is Aryan. In other words, Buddha is Caucasian. He had blue eyes and aquiline nose, big forehead, like a Greek torso, like a Greek head, you know. So don't judge the Buddhist teaching as Chinese teaching. You're wrong. A teaching of enlightenment has no boundary. It's for all. It's for humans, for everybody. So you have that mission to promote it. If you like to take on a mission, some people are not missionary. Who cares, you know? But some are. I don't know why. Since very young, I like to take on mission. I don't have to, but it seems to me to be a mission to promote the Buddhist teaching to the West. And I'm slowly, gradually, without me noticing it, I'm doing this. I'm promoting the Buddhist teaching. For how many years? I haven't done enough though. I would like to do more. Because I concentrated more in the construction, in the hardware than in the software. And now it's the time to do some software now. So I like to get software people. So all these are software people, eh? It's Lee, Bunny, and all these are software people. We need you to be a software person. Look, what is this life? If a life is just feeding your body, our body is the traveling bag. It's just a transient traveling bag of your existence. When you die, if you don't have a mission, you haven't achieved anything. So why make it meaningful? Do something, be more interesting. Carry the Buddha's mission to the world. This is a mission of compassion, a mission of consideration, a mission of peace. Why don't you take up that mission? Everybody should have that mission. Don't hide up in a room. Go out. You don't have much time left. Another 60 years for you? Who is less than 40? No, I don't mean to ask that. I don't mean to ask that. So if you're a 40-year-old, you add another 60 years, you're 100. So if you're 40, you add another 60 years. What is 60 years? It's a transient period. 60 years is like a flash of lightning. I've been here for 40 years almost. It seems just a flash of lightning. Do something meaningful. First of all, change yourself first. Get away from killing, from lying, from sexual misconduct. Get away from all these material wants and get into the spiritual world. You get happiness from walking this spiritual path. I think that's enough answer to the first question. It's been about 20 minutes to answer for that question. Second question, why are the wooden sticks hidden on the ground during the walking meditation? Wooden sticks are supposed to hit not the ground. It's you. Spare the rod, spoil the child. No, I really mean it. Because the guy, the vigilators, the guy who walk around carrying this cane, this wooden stick, is supposed to correct your position. If you're meditating like this, saliva coming up and you're dozing off to sleep, salivating. Is it called salivating? I learned a word today, salivating. It's a new word. Huh? That's salivating. So if you're salivating and dozing off, and the stick is supposed to correct your shoulders and make sure that you straighten your back and all that. And if you don't obey, they pat on your shoulder. And if you don't walk fast, they say, walk faster. It's supposed to monitor you. But in the Canadian society, you really have to be careful. You can get sued by personal contact or by harassment. So we use it for playful sticks hitting on the ground. Just to remind you, we could be more fierceful. It's just we don't want to hit you, we want to hit the ground. So it does not matter if you say, oh, don't worry, you can hit me, then we'll make an exception. So that's what it is used for monitoring you. But we didn't use it that way, but maybe we should more and more use it. When you dozed up like that, and when you are not behaving, when you are salivating. Yeah. You checked that word already, right? It's the right word. Oh, okay. Then a second thought comes to me. Who would be salivating? How do you know that you're salivating? When you deliberately push up some saliva in your mouth? Why would you do that? Oh, because your mouth is dry when you want to eat?
When you're sleeping.
When you're sleeping. Yeah.
Mouth open.
Oh, salivating, okay. All right, yeah, it's gravity, yeah, gravity. Yeah, so next time when you're dozing up like that and somebody correct you, oh, sorry, it's gravity. It's not me who make the mistake, it's gravitation.